the brokenhearted. Time after time, He's calling you to say yes, oh yes. He'll lead you through the way. Don't say no when the Lord calling you with a mission of hope to share to the world. When the Lord calling you knows everything, just give Him your heart and He'll do everything. Don't say no. Come as you are, despite of who you are, go into the world. Jesus loves them. Don't be afraid. Have faith in God and be strong in His word and believe God will do the rest. Don't say no when the Lord calling you with a mission of hope to share to the world. When the Lord calling you knows everything, just give Him your heart and He'll do everything. Don't say no. You and I have a reason to live. You and I have a message to tell the world. Don't say no when the Lord calling you. Don't say no when the Lord calling you. Don't say no when the Lord calling you with a mission of hope to send to the world. When the Lord calling, He knows everything. Just give Him your heart and He'll do everything. Don't say no. Calling you with a mission of hope to share mission with mission of hope. Calling, He knows everything. Just give Him your heart and He'll do everything. Don't say no. No, don't say no. Don't say no. Don't say no.
People will step out their houses and greet us like, Adra, Adra.
ADRA continues true to the mission of saving humanity so all may live as God intended.
An effective partner for the betterment of communities.
El impacto positivo.
You see the impact, seeing people feeding, seeing children being immunized, and having shelter for those who are displaced.
Que creamos en los niños sin querer, solamente hacemos aplicando el modelo de Cristo.
It's touching because they know us in the field and they know that if we are here, it's to do good.
I want the world to know that ADRA actually cares and that ADRA really believes we are all brothers and sisters, we suffer together, and we help each other.
Servir no esperando nada a cambio.
Together, we can make this world a better place.
That we continue to be hands and feet of Jesus in this broken world.
The world is changing. The suffering of the most vulnerable is increasing. Complex crises do not require complex solutions. They require people who care. Lots and lots of people.
Nazywam się Iwona Majkowska i jestem pastorową tego zboru, czyli gdy wybuchła wojna, nie mogło mnie tu zabraknąć.
Buenos dias, everyone. We're here in Bucaramanga, Colombia. Right behind me is the First Aid Mobile Unit that ADRA is using to provide first aid services to caminantes, who are people walking between Venezuela, Colombia, and even other parts of South America.
Hey kids, it's your friend Tino from Mozambique. I'm here at the ADRA water kiosk in Mukuba, a small town with a big need for clean water.
My name is Rungizai Babram Sengi. I am the emergency coordinator, but I'm also managing the school feeding project in Bwani.
My name is Richard Jankowski. It's the president of Polish Union.
I am Fatima Jabas, and I work with ADRA as community mobilizer for 4 years.
The Adventist Development and Relief Agency is not just a humanitarian organization. We're a movement of millions all around the world. Experts, community mobilizers, pastors, medical professionals, partners, refugees, volunteers, church members, students, and you. Without the Seventh-day Adventist Church, there is no ADRA. In 2020, we faced a global health crisis unlike any in our 37-year history. A crisis that exacerbated human suffering, disrupted the global economy, and upended people's lives. Instead of backing down, ADRA and the Adventist churches around the world united to respond to the fallout of COVID-19. In 2020 alone, ADRA and the church worked together on more than 300 projects in 96 countries. That includes 69 projects in North America, 101 projects in South America, 47 projects in Africa, 75 projects in Asia, and many more around the world. In 2021, that work did not slow down. We remain united with the church in our coordinated global response to care for the most vulnerable. Last year, ADRA implemented 1,657 projects in 107 countries and changed the lives of more than 25 million people. Much of that work was in direct partnership with our Adventist churches. We couldn't do it without you. We are strengthened by our partnership with the Adventist Church. We are guided by our faith. We are ADRA. All of us.
We're a human being.
We are normal people
Nos miran como si nosotros estuviéramos en este país porque sí.
I'm here, I need your help. You gotta help me.
Me fui de mi país fue por la violencia que se vive constantemente.
The war began. I didn't understand what to do, like where to go.
Attack our country, and it was so tough for all people there.
Waxaan uga soo hayaanay ama uga soo guurnay dhibaatooyin iyo dagaalo ka jiray meeshaas.
Acontecieron muchísimas cosas por las cuales yo empecé a tener temor de mi vida.
You have to leave what you built before and leave all your family, your friends, your city, your work, everything.
Entonces el estigma es como que vienen a quitarme el dinero, que quieren vivir del gobierno.
It's not that easy actually to leave. You have to find a smuggler to smuggle you out. Without any paper, you have nothing and you risk your life.
Waxaan u xiisay meesha ka imaaday waayo waxaa degan qaar ka mid familkayga oo aan jeclaan lahaa markuu waqtigiisa maxayna ku laabto.
If we could choose, we wouldn't choose to run away from our country, but we were forced. Refugees is not something that you can treat with less respect, but we are like you.
Welcome back to our AY program here at Hope TV, and this Sabbath is ADRA Sabbath, and we will be sharing the theme to serve humanity so that all may live as God intended. And we hope that you've been blessed by the message that you've heard from our team in the morning. Here in the afternoon, you'll hear from more of our team members about various projects that we do, and all under the guiding principle of serving humanity so that all may live as God intended. We would also like to take this time to welcome everyone that's tuning in. Thank you so much for staying in and tuning in with us this afternoon. You will be blessed with the various messages, the various stories that you'll hear from our project managers and our team here at ADRA Fiji. I hope you will enjoy our program and that you will stay tuned for more.
Like sun on my face, that sun's on my days. Lord, I need you to stay right here in my heart. In you I found a place for the joy of my life. I need you to hold my hand and lead me on. Lord, show me the way, right back to your heart. Even if it takes 1,000 miles, Lord, open my eyes and give me your strength. Create in me a clean heart. Every day, every moment I live, it's all about you. And you'll be right from the start. If there's anything that I could do for the goodness you saw, even when things are going wrong, still stand by my side. Don't show me the way, right back to your heart. Even if it takes 1,000 miles, Lord, open my eyes and give me your strength. Create in me a clean heart. Lord, show me the way, right back to your heart. Even if it takes 1,000 miles, Lord, open my eyes and give me your strength. Create in me a clean heart. Lord, show me the way, right back to your heart. Even if it takes 1,000 miles, Lord, open my eyes and give me your strength. Give me your strength. Create in me a clean heart. Lord, show me the way, right back to your heart. Even
Happy Sabbath. My name is Ana Alburquerque. I am from ADRA South Pacific, and I have been working for ADRA for more than 20 years. And this, I have a special topic to share with you. And by the way, happy Sabbath again. I don't know where are you, sitting or at home, or maybe with your friends. And this topic is about disaster risk financing. And I have my friend Barry here to help me. So we're going to start reading the Bible, because there is nothing to talk here if we don't open our Bible. 2 Kings chapter 4.
Verse 1 reads, "The wife of a man from the company of the prophets cried out to Elisha, 'Your servant my husband is dead, and you know that he revered the Lord. But now his creditor is coming to take my 2 boys as his slaves.'"
We are really worried because this family is facing a problem, a financial problem. And the debt was so high that they were close to take the 2 children as a slave. So we are not talking about thousands, maybe millions, but we know that the wife was worried. And this family was a Christian family. So that means that even if we are Christian, we also face some financial issues. But what the next verse says?
Verse 2 reads, "Elisha replied to her, 'How can I help you? Tell me, what do you have in your house?'"
What do you have in your house? That is the question that God is talking to us. He is asking to you and myself what we have in our house. Because when we face financial problems, we always need to reflect what resources we have in our house. Not just our income for the wages, or our land, or our time, or our skills.
"Your servant has nothing there at all," she said, "except a small jar of olive oil." Elisha said, "Go around and ask all your neighbors for empty jars. Don't ask for just a few, then go inside and shut the door behind you and your sons. Pour oil into all the jars, and as each is filled, put it to one side."
We have here one of the base of the finance or disaster risk finance. The resources that we could ask our neighbors, and the resources can be the jar, the resources can be different aspects. But also we reflect on the importance of the finance aspect in our family. The prophet said to the women, "Go to your home and shut the door and discuss finance with your family." So what we learn from this, that we need to talk with our children about budget. Even Helen White mentioned that for you to teach math to your children, they need to know how when you go to the market, so they can plus and learn how to work the finance in the house. Then we see that she put the oil in each of the jar. It's important the jar are there, so the oil will continue multiply. It's important we identify what resources we have, so God continue multiply. If we don't see our land, even if you have a little section in your house to cultivate, and even if you have a little time to develop that skill, we need to consider that aspect so they can be multiplied in God's hands. What is the next verse?
She left him and shut the door behind her and her sons. They brought the jars to her, and she kept pouring. When all the jars were full, she said to her son, "Bring me another one." But he replied, "There is not a jar left." Then the oil stopped flowing.
We also see the concept of community. You are in a family and you face issues, and then you go into the community and then you ask for jar. And it's important also to reflect that the Bible didn't say it, but I'm sure that the woman and the children returned the jar. Imagine that if you ask for something and you don't return, people will trust you. So we need to also reflect about how is our relationship in our community. So when we face financial problems, how we help or we receive help from the community, but also how we return that to the community.
Verse 7 reads, "She went and told the man of God, and he said, 'Go, Sell the oil and pay your debts. You and your sons can live on what is left.
What amazing. We start this section saying that the debt was not 1,000, was million, right? So she managed to sell all the oil and she managed to pay the debt and she managed to live with the remaining resources. So what does that mean? That in our financial life, we need to learn these steps, not to manage our debt and to live and to keep for the future. So the Bible is clear and God is clear about our financial life. So when we talk about disaster risk financing, because that is our topic, is the way that we can protect ourselves in advance, before the disaster, the crisis, by setting a plan and developing anticipatory actions on our finance. So we will talk more about that, and God is teaching us through the Bible.
Tangau leone ni mutiwalu au luluci kun ni tambana ni derbu kenangon lewa ena sungsungulu tunggo kor kabage cukcunggo loma SD kor ngununggo nale ni derbu kenangon lewa roto cinga ni cukuni ono na kor nangonunggo kemami wili-wili tudo kenangononggo kemi rotucingo ni wale kata cikuna tulu sangam. Rotaciku ni donan raubada cikuna kau kitu terau ni kuah. Na kau kitu teni kuah ya na njilo, na tabola, na butu, irna kau nimbara kitu bate cikuni kuah. Ka goin dona ka kemami banjin tak. Kemami na leweni korongo ena ngona kemiso tabaki na langilamba Winston ena kena sa kautani na vikau katu ena mbati nimbaran kembaki laki na kata-kata baki laki na viso ninraki ya niku ani kemai ngaraba na itabingo tabi ni mami tetale na kau merani sosomi tagiki na vikau koraya ya lian mbati nimbarabingo kena total na puno kemeredaro ciko ya na bising ni mataka er nomor mayu iranga nangon era tekau cikni kuah er nakilaki nakena bina memori totale na inakni tekau cikni kuah ena bukungan ni bibisonin rak saya tutuni anda bakilatu na kata-kata tabakila na be nraki tumbu kosong do lakutu me bakana tangilamba ento na kaya na bebu kibale kemisa banjin cinta kemisa kila Nabi buki bale buni kemi telu stale na kau ko na sulele suma na mata kina ni mambula sena vioka ni bekambula kemi bule tu ena banua patal ngaki na kena wasa-wasa obe torongon ko mona ba bini pina kata ka na South Pacific Division bakatal ngaki na ADRA ena buku ni program kongole mengo dona kana ni mami marutak kemi ba bini pina kata bale bureda na nikua Erangole mai bale lebu na durbo kenongonela patalanga kinir nongon lalai ya non ramaruta ka warta kitu non ratalita kana program ko samai mai baka madala tagitingo ya na be sungsungul pinaka bale bu na program kemai banga taginango kilani ni yanga baka lebu yanga lesu talbe kimami kirna ni mami lube kimami nangona mai
My work is to encourage, to empower and train women in the communities and enlightening men that women are very capable in leading in DRM as well. Though it's not easy because of the patriarchal society and traditions, we have seen a lot of women involved in disaster risk management because we are using the theology of disaster resilience in change of climate as the basis of our training, which is easily accepted in a patriarchal society such as Fiji.
The training is really useful to us here because we tend to see that we are living in a flooding area. Whenever disaster strikes, the lowline areas of Tavua and the Nambuna Flat, they are always being targeted for flooding. So the training that we tend to do in the next few days, it was really useful to us because it really helped us. It really helps the women, really helps the women to respond, especially for the response in before, during, and after disaster. And in the last few days, the last 2 days, a lot of women were sharing that they really enjoy. They really enjoy because it really empowered them, and it really a big lesson to them, so that to know what to do during disaster. For the women in DRR, as the topic we just said, we tend to say that we as women, we are always be the first responders. We are the first one to wake up in the morning and the last one to sleep at night. And whenever this disaster strikes, we always see that everything is in place in order to save our families in our community. And before disaster, whenever the warning comes, we women, we always tell each other, or we always share to each other that a cyclone are coming, and we have to be prepared. So we always say that women, we are always to be the first responders. The topic that we shared about the women in disaster is also the women in decision making. We tend to say that whenever there's training in our community, we as women, we always come in. Men hardly ever comes. But women, we tend to see that we have the knowledge in decision making. Before, we tend to see that in decision making we have been left out because we are living in the village or in the community that has been men's dominated. But now, when women are empowered, we always fight for our rights in a Bosevakor, that our voice has to be heard. So in decision making, for us here in Tavua, I think Tavulev is one of the largest villages in town, which has 1,650 populations and 305 households. So just last year, we tend to see the change that whenever there is a committee being formed in a village, our voice has been heard because we as women, some of the women have to be members. We are being included into those committees. Thank you.
I want to emphasize the importance of finance literacy, on how we can organize ourselves to use our resources. Resources, as I mentioned before, is not just the income, the cash you receive. Maybe you receive funds from other countries. I also want to mention that resources is the land, our skills, time. You have heard many times that time is money. And even the rubbish. Oh, what are you saying, rubbish or waste? I want them to learn about this, about recycle and repurpose. But many families, they don't waste anything. They waste for the food, the organic waste, they are doing compost. Or the plastic, they are recycled, and they are getting money for that. But I won't tell you more about that. But let's reflect how we can generate more resources for our family, our share, and our community. So we will talk about budget, debt, over debt, anticipatory action, saving for disaster. So the Bible mentioned that we need to set priorities. And in Proverbs 24:27 says the following.
Put your outdoor work in order and get your fields ready. After that, build your house.
I tell you at the beginning, I'm from Peru. And in my country, many families, as soon as they get the money or they receive some money, they run and buy food and enjoy, because today is the day and we need to spend all our money in celebration, and sometimes we don't think in the future. So it's important to remind ourselves about our priorities. What is our priorities? Is just the day to day, or what will happen in the following year? So in modern terms, this problem means that you need to set priorities with your money. Cover the essentials. What you need to keep yourself alive and able to work before spending money on creation comforts. Many people buy expensive phones because they want to show off, but maybe the phone even doesn't have credit to call, or they are dead for another 2 years before this phone is broken. So we need to think in very well what comfort we want to take and the priority. In other words, pay all the bills before you spend any money in new things. Priorities. The second aspect, because here we are learning together, is make a budget. What Luke 14:28-30 said.
Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule you, saying, "This person began to build and wasn't able to finish."
In my work in ADRA, I always hear many nice dreams. Oh, let's build a water tank. Let's build a tower. Let's build this. And my question after they said that is, how much money you need? Oh, I don't know. So it's important for us to make a budget. It's like when you go to the market. You go to the market, you don't just pick things and then you say, oh, how much money I have in my pocket? No. First, you know how much money you have, and then you pick the thing for the market. So when you talk about budget, simple thing, what you receive and what you spend. And you need to reflect where are the expenses that you must say yes or yes, no? Like pay the electricity or pay food, no? And you also need to consider your priorities there, your plan. If you want to build a tower, you need to put there a saving. This is the next point that I want to talk. But budget sometimes between the families not discussed. No, a husband manages the whole money, the wife manages the whole money, the children manage the orphans, and they're not talking. So the unity of the family will have to do a proper budget. I think it's a progress, a communication in there. And I don't know if you do budget, but let's practice. And we are learning together to do our budget and setting priorities. The third point is disaster risk financing budget. Build an emergency fund. We are in Fiji or in the Pacific. Every year we have a disaster, flooding. There are a lot of fire problems also. But what the Bible said, Genesis 41:34-36.
Let Pharaoh appoint commissioners over the land to take 1/5 of the harvest of Egypt during the 7 years of abundance. They should collect all the food of these good years that are coming up and store up the grain under the authority of Pharaoh, to be kept in the cities for food. This food should be held in reserve for the country, to be used during the 7 years of famine that will come upon Egypt, so that the country may not be ruined by the famine.
Thank you. The Bible is showing us that we will have always a time to save, a time the fat cows, a time where we can say, I need to separate this money before the slim cows coming. So we need to learn how to separate that fund for the disaster or for the crisis. We learned from Joseph that he was so smart, keeping the fit part of all the resources. I don't know how much money we can save, but we intentionally need to say, okay, let's do fundraising and keep that for disaster, just in case of disaster. But we need to change the mentality to be more resilient. not just to receive, but also to generate to be ready for the disaster. It's always made sense to save resources in good times, so you have them to help you get through lean times. Setting aside money for future emergency is still hold true. So even in the time of Joseph, even in our time. So these emergency funds is for emergency. No, we save it and then, let's do shopping. No, it's for emergency purpose. So let's do this in our family, in our community, and in our church. Number 4, avoid debt. We learn a lot about how we can avoid debt. Proverbs 22:7.
The rich rule over the poor, and the borrower is slave to the lender.
As we see the story at the beginning, they were close to take these children as a slave because the debt and the over debt. And I think we need to be wisely thinking on our finance to prevent any over debt and debt, because then we cannot be mentally healthy, because we are thinking, I need to pay this, I need to pay that. Even the psychologists say that our self-esteem is based on our finance. People, when they get paid, they walk like this, really happy. But when people doesn't have money, they walk like hiding, They are worried. Sometimes they don't even sleep. They have depression. They have high blood pressure, anxiety. And they are always asking for money, because the finance part of our life needs to be in order. So let's be careful and not take debts. Let's be careful on that and talk with our family, because in the story we read, the husband take debts and he didn't tell to the wife. And when he passed away, poor wife and the children. So that is also communication in our financial life. Number 5, diversify your investment. And we're going to read Ecclesiastes 11:2.
Invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land.
Diversify. I always like this when we were with the farmers, because they are focusing one crops, and we are saying, no, you need to diversify. Some crops will take more time, some crop 3 months. So you diversify. Sometimes the veggies in 3 months you can sell. Different activities in our family can be reviewed, so we can diversify our income. Like we say in English, don't put all the eggs in one basket, And so we learn how to get income from different aspects. If you have land, you can rent the land and then get some income from there. Or you can produce the land while you are working in the office. So or in anywhere you have, not just in the office. So you have income from different aspects. And in our number 6, reduce risk as you age. And I'm getting old. So what's that mean? That I need to reduce the risk? Why? Ecclesiastes 5:13-14.
I have seen a grievous evil under the sun, wealth hoarded to the harm of its owners, or wealth lost through some misfortune, so that when they have children, there is nothing left for them to inherit.
Yes, more and more parents need to be conscious what they are living, what they are giving to the children. I was talking with one friend a few days ago, and she said, I have a new house because for my children, And some parents, no. Some parents say, no, if I get sick, my parents need to look after me. But as we get old, we need to think in that we are not going to be a problem for our family. We need to see how we are giving a good legacy for our children. So how we can also see our retirement funds, how we can see what we are creating now for a good legacy of our family. So our family don't struggle when we are getting old. And I'm talking here for the old and for the young also, because some moment we are young, the next day we are old already. So how we can work together, intergenerational talking, to have a good finance for our family. Make a financial plan. Plans. I will continue, but what Proverbs 21:5 said?
The plans of the diligent lead to profit as surely as haste leads to poverty.
In my country, I'm sorry I used this example, people said, no, why we need to make plans? See, Jesus is coming soon. I don't need plans. I need to live the day today. But you know, there is a plan of salvation. Before we even being here, the plan is not something new. It's God's idea to have a plan. So has a financial plan means that we need to be smart. We need to be wisdom and take this opportunity to have a budget, a planning, what I'm going to do with the saving, with the resources I have. And I know it's not easy. I'm sure that what we are talking here is a learning process. So when we set priorities, we need to work together on that. Make a budget with the children, with the husband, with the wife. Have emergency fund, disaster refinancing. Avoid debt. Diversify your investment and reduce the risk as you age, and make a financial plan. I'm sure this topic will make you reflect and rethink what I can do today, because tomorrow maybe it's going to be late. God wants our family to be a light in the community, a light in the church. So if we have a good and a strong financial life, then church will be big and has resources to continue the mission, because we will give more offerings, we will tithe, and we have our own commitment. So, my friends, today God is calling us, you and myself, to improve our financial life, to improve our disaster refinancing aspect in our life. God bless you. Pinakaba Caleb.
Fiji, a land of breathtaking beauty, is also a nation vulnerable to natural disasters. In the face of such challenges, the Church Agency's Network Disaster Operations, or CAN-DO, under the Australian Humanitarian Partnership's Disaster Ready program, is making significant strides towards a safer and more resilient Fiji.
So under the Safe and Ready, a big component of it is the retrofitting. So under ADRA Disaster Ready 1.0, we managed to retrofit 10 church facilities with our local partners in the 3 divisions. So from the learnings from there and the information that has been shared to us by our partners in the Pacific Disability Forum and the Fiji Disabled People's Federation, we've been able to continue to share that information and provide technical support to the local churches and communities that have been involved in the retrofitting of church facilities, of their facilities for evacuation center.
In times of disasters, persons with disability are mostly affected, and one of the highlights that we normally get from organizations and members of our organization is that the inaccessible evacuation facilities that hinders access and safety and protection of persons with disabilities, having shelters in evacuation centers. And the Safe and Ready project has sort of bridge that gap in ensuring that accessibility and retrofitting work is done in evacuation facilities that allows persons with disability to freely access evacuation centers and take shelters.
The Safe and Ready project has retrofitted several evacuation centers, making them accessible for persons with disabilities. This includes the village of Tavua, home to nearly 2,000 people.
Nawag na valibu ni isembera ni dola na rem na malasati o sa wato to takamay na numdo project na wekag o maruta valibu.
Apart from that, on the retrofitting, we've been working with partners on the Pacific Disability Forum and our partners in the Fiji Disabled People's Federation who have advised us on the standards for the retrofitting of facilities for disability access. So using that, we and additional partners with Field Ready, they've come up with easy guidelines that we can share with the communities.
The Safe and Ready project also includes the development of the Safe and Ready app. This innovative platform helps collect and store information about evacuation centers ensuring they meet the necessary criteria set by the National Disaster Management Office.
Is the development of the Safe and Ready platform, the app. So this app allows us to work with partners to collect and store information regarding their facilities that can be used as evacuation centers in times of disasters. And this app was specifically developed to be able to provide support to NDMO using the churches as a means to input information.
Yeah, and we would like to take this time to thank partners, implementing partners, the Australian humanitarian partnerships, and also the Australian government with the initiatives that has really benefited persons with disability in terms of their safety and protections, ensuring access to the evacuation facilities, and that no one is left behind in any disasters or response or any preparedness work. Thank you.
Through collaboration, innovation, and community engagement, Can Do's Safe and Ready project is paving the way for a more inclusive and disaster-ready Fiji, ensuring no one is left behind. Together, we are building a safer and more resilient Fiji.
In 2020, the Adventist Development and Relief Agency, or ADRA Fiji, with funding support from the European Union, began the implementation of the 3-year Learning Environmental Adaptation for Development of Civil Society Organizations in Fiji project, also known as the LEAD, on Koro Island. Situated in the Lomaiviti group with 14 communities, Koro Island was the most ravaged island in Fiji when Category 5 Tropical Cyclone Winston hit in 2016, greatly affecting the environment and the sustainable livelihood of more than 3,000 people on the island. With support from ADRA Germany and ADRA Austria, this rehabilitation and development program with a circular concept was piloted in Koro with an aim of enabling civil society organizations, CSOs in Fiji, to engage as actors of change in governance development and climate change mitigation and adaptation.
This is what we're trying to do with this LEAD project. Learning, environmental adaptation for development. Of course, the European Union, or civil society organizations like ADRA, or government agencies will be here and partner to assist you, but you have to count on your own strengths. You have to make the most of what nature makes available to you. This is the sense of this LEAD project. How you can use to the best the resources you have. How you can become more resilient, which means how you can increase your capacity to face whatever life throws at you. So we will do that in partnership, but you are the ones who are at the center of this project.
Iu na kena mai raka na banyu waka raka na kena titi ni vegetables ko tungori tuku talanga dona demo fam ko tuku raya ko ya na project level ko kito mai kalunga takina na len to busala ko ni rauni kito mai wakalunga takina doni susul level pasa mai ni reda ka banji ni takitu ni kwa na project level ko sa ba dortu na mandangona ya me adorni ko na ko.
A total of 14 civil society organizations was formed and registered with the Fiji Council of Social Services, working closely with ADRA Fiji and spearheading the work on the ground as actors of change in each community.
Ngana bebu kele berto kotamena ADRA be nani to songsongo ya na sola fisha. Au ngone didi cuma ngone didi kito didi baka cunga kito na komiti ngani kor ni songo-songo. O e ngana ke de liu na nungu buni bola ke nungu dau niau. Ke tore de ni toso bina kasaranga na be kai di bakina na buru mande ni labo ke tondo tali. Baka ke tondo bai song ke tondo ndo asing sing itu tali ya ali mucungan andol baka ne roso mucungan andol dona mada ke turawat. Ini sama di bakina ni toso la frisena ke tore de ndo tamani labo lebe ke totarakina. Ni baksaw chimanda ke to December ke to sama idin. Na January February di baketo sartunga na sola frisa na kera badurum chuni to ilapo. Kombe ka na yang ni sola frisa yan chuma bikito na song.
By the end of 2022, over 80% of CSOs reported at least 3 practices on transition to a climate-resilient, low-emissions, circular economy through communities-centered actions on the island, which included earning from the sale of vegetable produce from the demonstration farms and establishing solar freezer businesses. The project also reported improvements in environmental protection, recycling and sustainable green income generation on the island for the targeted communities.
Looking back, actually I was here during Winston time, and we all witnessed that a lot of trees has been destroyed during that devastation of Winston. And for this rehabilitation program, we noticed that there's a lot of changes here. Since we witnessed we plant some trees today for the rehabilitation of this coastal plant, native coast plants, in regards to trying to build up again what has been taken away by Winston for these past few years.
Go na go sangay tumbu saranga na may na tigubungan yang bagsaut. Ang do kuchiba pa kando yan yung kuchiba chugo sinuri na nuku. Matini puno ko ang bulu saranga min ang gereng may way. Kimem bangatak na diga bulu takete may kinapuno. Yan ang ko salo richu na nuku na puno. Bibelu richu bali na nuku may way. May pamatak puno ko balet na yang saranga ni kaungo. Ngo na lawere bata na do na bosej. Kona malang na na babici kona kongo rubi bu kita kasar ngoro na kena break tek kona lasila lai kurtungu na las ko koto mina wongo kora break ta kasar ngako babu na kena lako mina nuku me mo kurumbu chukona ni sa nuku tale tu na puno mata so na puno chukme kin na shola le na vuli binak artu koto chukme na andra do koto chukme na andra ni me vuli de kin le bunaka kimi sangatuni kila.
With an aim of sustainably improving Coral Island market economy, women and youth groups have become active members and are able to significantly contribute to the island market economy, while supporting development of environmentally friendly communities for climate change adaptation and ecotourism. The project has also strengthened the marine protected area in all communities, working in collaboration with the Ministry of Fisheries. The 14 communities also have functioning plans for sustainable management and protection of marine and coastal ecosystems to avoid significant adverse impact, with inclusion of strengthening their resilience, supported by effective action for restoration and rehabilitation to achieve healthy and productive oceans by 2022.
Nalenga tumbukosa na mati sisenga endusia ni leka wale nambula esenga ninde ni rao ni tumbukosa komate iya embimbi menanuita katunga na kalu ni kalo wa yalondina ndaulo loma kale wandondon ka tau mundu no no loma bekenda ebe kai tukura koto na samen don ra tolso kauna
nararawa kena lenga etik ni nondambula esenga nindua engalala maikina wilikina oira na yalondondonu bebaka e olong koto enebola ni chope Enangonen rendre ongo engandrebi menda wakareitaka ninda imuri ni Kristo kamenda dovebuke kai wakareitaki vinaka. Endana liavan beka sedab etare kende tikukina na lenga tumbukoso. Ia enangonen nindrendre menda dovevingomi talo vinaka kai wakareitaki niloloma vedir nalakanta.
Enda tata wata kede katuna kenda nduyanga ena bura-bura etambula tukina ongo. Menda ndau ve rei katango maka nanonda ya umbula. Menda rokova na nono dondonu nimbula endua. Oka kina na ya umbula mekuwa ni wakasamsamutaki. Enda ndua mbulu ngana kao tamata. Enda tata wata. Kwa kina menda ve rokovi. Ena tiki nimbula wa Kristo na masu enda nabaki. Kina baka tulewa matau. Kenda na ito kei na iwala ni baka rau ena lenga tumbukoso. Erando murianga na nondangasi enda bi tambanga una sawoti esvenga ni titikunga ena ngonongo nabuku makaongo na edando ne metalevi kaokati ena baka rau kena baka doko ena ngona ni lenga tumkoso
mendanda ubosa katukuni kata kana vika endondonu me baka yadori ena baka rau kena badoko ena ngona ni lenga tumkoso na mbula baka rau e tobo baka tisepi embimbi me okati kende kina menda tunde enangona ni lenga tumbukoso mebaka enda bulida ena pakatikibu wasia wasinga burkanto na baka rau esai pakatakele ni nonda bambuta sai indushi ni nonda baka nui
na kaboro na baka yalala ni mbula se na wasa walu da tukuna na ibala da tiki ni mbula ni tamata kete na ndale ni buru ya nikua kenda sarangana tamatango enda sao waka rusatiko na nonda burubura na nonda waka sambutaka na vika embuli na kalu sayanga menda visau sayanga menda vibutuntaka na nonda vala wana nonda burubura kena nonda kalu menda reida na kalu ena vika mbuli kena vika mbula wabuli tikena karokobira na vika mbulongo na kalo e daga tiko na nonda bula kaborongo kadibi kenda na kalo menda daga wata kei koya senga ni mataka ni kuwa
Tonight, 3 to 5 year recovery for our tourism industry. ADRA continues with assistance. The Adventist Development Relief Agency, or ADRA Fiji, today reached out to assist 55 households with people living with disabilities in the Suvarnosori corridor. As part of its COVID-19 response, ADRA Fiji...
Approximately 1,000 affected families in Fiji have been assisted by the Adventist Development and Relief Agency Fiji, or ADRA, as part of its COVID-19 response during the second outbreak. ADRA today distributed food packages to communities in Wainimbuku, Ndawilevu Housing and Sasawira, Eparamawar.
God made me a part of His story.
Ni kuat tengah minggu na bebuke ker-ker ni pamatal teke muninga. Bata kay na pamatal teke muni. Au na kay lakot kay nataro ni kuat.
Nata ko sekarang tuto mani tutua.
Ada tung meni kuanta na bebuke kurangan ni bebuke sandu lakot may be ADRA ranindong ana numuni bosa na tikinonggo na bebuke ato mai ke na tapa na numuni tuba na pangantay pakatapa na bebuke sa ato tiko may
ADRA ni rutu sulang pertemuan ni rutu bebuke ni begitu utula ni kemami stahutu yang kami layani kiti ya suba dengan makan minister bayu na kali kami bawa lagi kemami mai bangat kaya kem sana saya kelan sana rani yang sarwalu kemami kiti kemami nabi kiti
kata kiti ko nambong ina kambaleta na do kanikuop rani duang na numuni pa kamatalan at kinaya na tapos ang karabiti ko kina numdo tubo membaleta na program ya
naka lagi kang sang karabiti ko na nito ko sang ito ko nikito na nduriram na didiram nito ko sa kitong posetico membaleta na nito na tigmukin na nito yung kono ko nito seaweed itu sa sangat sarcikin na buku ni tambanan itu na bengkarabikin na tos itu sa barutos
ada tambak satu num do tu koran itu pamatalatakan na weka itu bekem doi koro do kelani lebu tiko bakal lebu na num do resources na lebu na buru-buru ni bula tike na tapang beke buki kem do beka pakata bo ADRA na beka ngo renito kan muni pamatal na tikinoya
sabab naksar na value bulatan ni barakan ni bisa sangat tu meke memi voltak na memi bul semendo na kuno na nadidikin na kango guys sangat sumira ero tukuno chunga mena galislis ni ke memi titi chunga value ke kem sa titi value ke sindana bongo ya lakro na nani memi ti semena voltik ro ke no baginak na ADRA ni urto silon bertemu na sendo na market ni urto na baruta kami na bukiki na tos ke sa tos sikino na tamo ni urto
fighting its own battle against COVID-19 when severe tropical cyclone Harold struck on April 18, causing widespread destruction across Fiji. While good hygiene was crucial to the fight against the virus and other diseases, damages caused by the Category 4 cyclone resulted in further need to improve water, sanitation, and hygiene in most communities nationwide. Matulele Island was one of the few communities that suffered the full brunt of the cyclone. Water scarcity that was already an existing problem became worse when homes were destroyed, affecting water supplies to the people. There is no running water on the island, so the people only depend on stored rainwater collected from their rooftops for drinking and cooking. Year-old Joanna Kaseti of Mbawanga village was thankful to have been assisted with jerry cans for water storage. She says water storage containers is a need for them on the island, and sometimes they resort to cleaning empty fuel and oil drums to be utilized for storage. "65-year-old Aleni Munewai of Ekumbu village, who is also physically disabled, echoes the same sentiment, extending her appreciation to ADRA Fiji and the LDS charities for identifying the need to have them assisted with water storage containers. She says rain is occasional on the island, and when the opportunity comes, they ensure that they stock up on their supplies, filling whatever can be filled for their daily needs. A total of 400 households in Fiji benefited from the wash kits distributed by the NDMO and the Fiji Disabled People's Federation. Through this project, ADRA Fiji and the LDS charities contributed to rebuilding Fiji and improving the quality of life for the people affected by TC Herald in vulnerable communities.
Dorian ibarlutungo helo mebuna na kuni bibuke na kena sema toka ndo na asili nitu balutu ni rawa ni nanumi tu ira raba lengai tu bakini menrambula sai kwa kena bakai na kini wheelchair kira talanga na nangase raki toka na bakini mbula na vitu sama bulu kina walu sama bulu kitu babina bina kitu reida na kena mai bagai dor na daka kongo oira rangase dake kira era bagai lengai na itu bakini ngonda era wani sa teki bu mera bagai ngata na bono bo sa mesem na kena ngarabi kena sema na bonongo sakale bunani mami babina bina tomande baka bina kata kitu na kalu na bukuni no na raindo raikina na kendo project kongo merawa mirambona nomi oira senga itu baka bina na ngonda kira talenga ngase dake merawa mirambo baka ngata se mirambo wili ought to be inclusive na bukuni sema ni bonongo.
Ito ba matabugal kito sa tegbu te kakandon roti ko ilang manabe para rama tatya lebsar na ka kirau o kito kiro mata ba bewakti ni kiro buli ta na bugon ni be bara rama tatya da kan don buli bina mai to sa da tal na bara ni le rau kila esto na be ka membaleta na iwali wali te kakandon baleta ni ke mengarabi buli ra buli la ko na lebe kira korni buli me bakana ken rau kakan ni besing sa laila non rau kan na kakan na buli menesto sa lebungan na kakan rau kan ni besing sa lang sartinga mena nito pati ada kati na kabeti na moda na bin na kiukamba baingani kasa ken rau kakan sartunga na ngon bisi korni Keto tu na lomani deka o keto na corona vaksali keto ndo kila ndo tu kunitu ke ni toleto na vitavini na mbele na ota ke na ruro roto yang ndo laukan ke ni besi yani ngela ko mayo kana be bararam tanggerto na ada me belaka na biakat kadni sa may besa uta ka balalay na bakaroni kaka na ke laukan ni besi.
Natang ngomo se Mosambedi, autoran kore tika na corona ngali, manito corona ngali, ndo na kore kilele butu ibiti, kilele busartunga ni ndo lubu, kile itu ni mate ndo mbaga ni kore ndo lubu, itu pabili kana ni corona ngali ni raw ni to sekitu merto na komite ni ADRA, merto mengkarab bikitu na takabuli, itu pabili ni buku sarna kale le bukitu me buli raw, mai liu. Meda begitu menitamu ko meda mo sa meda kana buli sing sartu mantagan ito ni kina komite sing sartu nga ni pang matatabi mo bisya tapan ni wale ni bi kami kimenang karapa na buli kina ni aton to na lang tumbukos na ngono mi pa tapar kina buli sing ni kuha usama sa rabaro na buli le buli kina lo menito kor na buni kina sa may pang matataki sa buli sa ndo kina komite ersati ersalewen sartu na ngoni na lini komite ni takabuli para taka buli na buli kina pakator taki na kina pakarau taki na bula pakai pakarau nilang ketumko selalu menitukor.
Takai cuma deh tuku lagi lamba kira walu. Sakare bisa tikar untuk pakarau tu aman nonton balik. Kalau saat ini kalau kembali satu suka batik nade pakarau di lagi kira walu. Sakare bisa juga kira nak kau itu kena nemu ya.
Karena ADRA organisasi nonton tu biwar ramataki nali muna kage tu asing tu bau kila ara sama ibu bikin itu reda ni yang apa kali besar nama ini itu cuti dia nama ni bulan lebih sih na kakak ni mami tu kan ni mami tu kan ambele na ruro tu yang kemarin tu mami bukai na sona ka apa dia na kakak na bulan lebih sih tu selia na ikei tu may takabuli na bimong ramatagi na iwala-wala some gimamikla begitu manda mga bubali ureda na kena binaka nang bulan na bisinga po ang biyor to na nungumone ulit yung batu secondary nang bulan na bisinga ito kurwata tukin na nagkakan itong dokusar kaya nga rin may mga bulang-bulang na ngonda nang bulan na bisinga ito kurwata talaga may kinanailaw so talaga na may buli sarwata ng bulan na bising matagin na ilaw sarwat yung kina na tol-tol so kala ko sa tiyo mayan na manuwa na luto matagin na mata nito iliwi mamindo ba ang takatungan win mati may boror tayo ito sa angay bulida raw ni may mga daw siya takat na panu yan ay wali-wali mo ito sa may bulida na kaya na may saka kuni ba ang tagin na win mati sarat ko so na rabi kau sona kau gara ribukian na kena lontanya sona manu medan titi mga nanube nila kabeti para to kanalakan rumi kabeti sartu sona na domboy sena sona kau tale kabeti gara ndau tunga na sona ndai titi gara rabi kau rabi kakini gara kimem sangi mikila irayang tu na kena baluti na manu medan titi gara to ko may na kena mga pulo to nakali pagkakilim na Chinese cabbage o sa nakinig ka tali kape tumay na tubuwa na tomata na milin patagin na longgin patabit kaya nanito ito buto mesa na tumanit yung ikito rin na kinabinaka sa nitong bulan na bising apakatang lang kinan na kawag lang
Bang Komersiana Pemaramani Benualebu na koro-karoko kiti na tulo me na komame au sanda kili na sanga bulu awawa tinga ya usania ibsar na buli pinga ka ure karame na kilimi ya wendo na marama endo turbia na matengo na S na se SOB na asatare itu mai lomani fine correct Cimbara na chini na baki Yang kita beli menau tiana rosoba kau nambaki. O cicim kau nambaki, ngecin nambaki. O sabaki la mekina nambaki. Ina manu melaku tu makina na bulingo wa eleme. O sange mekra hira. Ya papa kan tu nambulang ko na tolo na kango masuka. Masima wakati kina wewe. Kina wala ni kana enga. Pakanga takan. Sasa ndambita tani na kana kwa ngabina katabi kenda na kalo. Kwa nenda kana minawere menda tianga na kenda. Tasangi ni kanya to kenda na kakana. Kenda kulia mena stoa se asari waki tu. Atakina weni matenda sana nikia. Au reni kani kuwa nyombeta kana nongo tau mate. Kena makarangi kakana sene kana owa. Waturi bakatumili. Nada bana ngono sami bulike. Nga nunggu punya kanak tu, bunga nangauna au bondonga bondo, malesa, sasindan tumbal balap. Kaya pagkaman tangang tumbal, orang nunggu bitan mana orang lewat kyo yan, orang tundara mena nunggu bel, sa bakasan gimbi niya. Anak kenara. That's how bad it is, asmetic, as tariya. Kaya tinakit ko na lubin. Ito na yung kabila, kita nggak kami bahay. Kaya natatakot sa ngayon, dyan na rin nila kumiki. Yang ko, laku ba ng bulan doon na hula, batolo, doon kilaro na bitamani, rini, orobon, yan ran kito na bimbo. We have sleepless night. Iya. Ang ano doon, hindi ba kaya ni ba ng bulan? Ang kung ako Lucia, chiko, ay rin, basa mo kanina, kinaon sa bulan doon, o buli chiko na pakal na yang mau sekali buat. Kalau bilang kata tu apa? Saud sabtu lah pula. Bisa. Dah nak bisa lebih banyak kawan. Mereka nak enda kan cuci Au reni kani kuah. Nyombeta kana dong tahu mati. Ena makaroni kakana seni kana owa. Waktu riba ketumili. Nada bana ngono sami bulike. Esa walang labiya. Nito tata. Nito ta. Berti ko na buli. Amita stroke. Mild stroke. No, sindar ni mild stroke ko ata ni kwara indo na mati. Sen sanga nila ko raw tikri ko nito na ngona so. Tara na wana pa kanto. Ang ingara ko lang ni ito. Turi tali. Itara ko tali mild stroke. Baksaw tinggal lagu Desember. Iyo, baru nabi makan do ADRA, Fiji betul ADRA, Australia. Iran ku tadi kami nak beli bagi membeli. Ausangin me baga ngatakan nak beli ngako sulia mai. O ADRA na LME, berani kita mega, kita membeli naga kina na beli. Dabo ko ya sang sarang ni rani la ko. Sebi ko kiani. Dua anak kau kita sendiri kau kita sendiri. Basta kan anak kena kakak. Main kanak labi nak kata bikan kalau minta kanak minta apa? Main awal. Lama ni warna mula. Basta kita kakak. Lama ya. Ya kalau bisa duri tanah nunggu ni balik. Salah aku tadi ko sa kucu ko ngal sili sa kucu ko palelai. Main anda butuan tu. Tai pasar tu nggak Babi na binaka. Bikin do na tim ni LMA na ADRA. Na bulilit na bikin. Na to pala benda. Tiang na kenda kakan. Na asin to. Kana nga may nawir. Patanggol na kana nga binakatabikin na kuluna.
I've been living on this land and working in the farm for the past 50 years. Through farming, I've been able to provide for my family and support my children's education. All my children now have a life of their own, and now I live alone with my wife, and life has been really hard lately, especially when we have the COVID-19 outbreak. After the cyclone, all my crops were damaged. Harvest was really poor. And the $200 that we received, it is a lot of money for us because we don't usually get those kind of money often. We used it to buy fertilizer and to plow the land. And from that assistance, I was able to plant 6,000 dalo tops and over 1,000 cassava plants. I usually sell my dalo and cassava with agro marketing to support our livelihood. To be honest, I didn't get the opportunity to finish my education because my parents couldn't afford it. So all my life, I've been working hard to put my children to school, and now I work hard for my grandchildren to ensure they get the best education I didn't get. To the Australian government and its leadership, thank you for remembering us with this assistance. Thank you for helping us to recover.
I'm with vegetable farming for the last 5 years. So what I usually do every day, I get some fresh vegetables, I pick it up from the farm and then I put it in my store. And every day, few people going this way and that way, they just travel, they just buy few vegetables from me. So I usually make a sale of $10, $15 to $20, sometimes even $60, $70 if I have more vegetables. And that makes a living for me. We were left with nothing, that's what I would say. We had flood waters right up to this place. So I had plenty of okra, water bean, I would say bean and cucumber, chilies, everything was there. But with the Yasa and all those floods, it was all ruined. So we had to do everything up again. I am actually really grateful. I am really grateful. Right from my heart, I'm really thankful to the Australian High Commission and whoever.
I work from Monday to Saturday on this farm. I visit my family in Nalotawa after work on Saturday and return to the farm every Sunday afternoon. I am a single mother of 4, and from this work, I am able to provide the much needed support for my children and parents, especially during this hard time when we have COVID-19. The owners, they have been very supportive. I came to work here after the cyclone. They lost nearly everything, and I've been with them as they tried to recover from the flooding caused by Tropical Cyclone Ana. Working in this farm is my source of livelihood. For that, I am really grateful.
My name is Samobin Khan. I'm 59 years old. Since I'm staying here, I born here. This place of my name is Marnitava. It was the time in Tiziana and Tizi, yes, it was flood. Flood and all the stake, everything have been removed and damaged. Yeah, it was very helpful for me. That one for cultivating for my farm and buy some seeds after the disaster to improvement on my vegetable farm. Thanks for the Australian aid to helping this Fiji farmers to put up our export variety, all the farmers for the market, everything they helping us. Because there is no food on the table, it's very hard to survive everybody. Thanks lots for Australianites.
Good afternoon. Happy Sabbath to all our viewers, those who are linking up to our channel, those who may be in the comfort of their homes, and those who are joining us in church. My name is Christine Lemau, and I will be your host this afternoon with our group of panelists who are members of the ADRA team. This afternoon, in our AY program, we will get the opportunity to know a little bit more about ADRA. Some of you may have heard about ADRA, some of you may have worked with ADRA, but let's get to know more about what ADRA is about and which department of the church does ADRA belong to. I will give the time to our panelists to introduce themselves and share a bit about the work that they do with ADRA. Daniel, would you like to start?
Well, thank you, Christine. 1 John chapter 3, verse 1, it states, "Behold, what manner of love the Father that he has bestowed amongst us, that we shall be called sons and daughters of the Lord." And so I'd like to welcome and say happy Sabbath to our sons and daughters of the Lord viewing in this Sabbath day. My name is Daniel Taufana, and I look after a program which is called Disaster Ready, and that is to get all the churches to be disaster ready, so to speak. Yeah.
Thank you, Daniel. Auntie Kitty, would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Christine, happy Sabbath, everyone. I'm Kitty Vasu. I look after the one of our health programs, and I think all of us are very familiar with the Live More Abundantly program, a lifestyle-based program that is run in the church and in the communities that ADRA looks after. And this has been going on to the 6th year of this program now.
Great. Before I get to Etika, I am referring to ADRA. Could you help our viewers know what ADRA stands for?
Thank you. Bulvinaka to our viewers and happy Sabbath. ADRA stands for Adventist Development and Relief Agency. It is the humanitarian arm of the Adventist Church, and it's been a pleasure to be a part of this team over the past 3 years. My name is Etika, if I didn't mention that, and I am part of the Church Agency Network Disaster Operations on the Safe and Ready component, where we work with churches being used as evacuation centers and also being used as using the churches as a means to provide messaging on disability inclusion, safety and protection. Thank you.
Thank you, panelists. I'm just referring to what's behind you in the banner. So ADRA has this serving humanity so all may live as God intended. Can you share with us some aspects of the work that translates to this?
Yeah, thank you, Christine. I'll start. We work with a program, as I mentioned, Disaster Ready, but the name of the program is the Church Agencies Network Disaster Operations. That is working with the churches to be disaster ready. We know that churches are very influential, and we want to use the churches to empower its members and the communities to be ready before any disaster strikes. Yeah, so that's what we do, and realizing that Fiji is part of the top 15 countries in the world in terms of the world risk metrics, in terms of disasters. So it is imperative that we involve churches, as I said, very influential, and they need to make sure that the members are not only ready for the soon coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, but to be ready for the various disasters that they face daily. Yeah.
You mentioned working with churches, Daniel. So how has been this work over the last, how many years has it been?
Yeah, thank you. We've been working on this program for the last 7 years, and we work with, as I said, churches. When I say churches, we are talking about the Catholic Church. We're talking about the Methodist Church, Salvation Army, the Seventh-day Adventist Church, the Anglican Church, and a few Pentecostal churches. Just simply trying to get them to understand that this is not a government priority only, but the church needs to step in as well to ensure that its members, as I said, are resilient to disasters. And preparation for that is important. Yes.
Really sounds interesting. Etika, you also directly involved in this program. Could you share a little bit about the impacts of the work that you do with the church disaster readiness? And you mentioned that you work on protection and inclusion issues.
So we have noticed over the course of this program, a lot of the church facilities being built in the Pacific. It's not really disability friendly. So as part of inclusion messaging, one of the things we've worked with churches is to come up with basic designs that they could retrofit their churches for disability access to improve access for the elderly, the disabled. And we've learned over time that people that could not access the church previously now could attend, the normal weekly services apart from the disaster events. Yeah.
Indeed, church is always a place of refuge for those that are affected during cyclone. So these churches, which areas have you worked with in the past?
The churches we've worked with in the last 6-7 years in the different regions in the Northern Division, Central and Western, with the various denominations, with the Methodist Church, with the Adventist Church, with the Catholic Church, Salvation Army, and the Anglican churches. So we've worked with them, coming up with basic designs, and these designs are freely available and accessible with the church members that they could easily take up and implement in their local churches.
Great. In terms of preparedness and addressing community issues, Auntie Kitty, can you share with us a little bit more about your work and why do you do this work with the communities?
Christine. So we all know that, as I mentioned before, the health program that we work with in ADRA focuses on NCDs or lifestyle diseases, and it's a known fact that around about 80% of the deaths in this country is due to NCDs. These are a group of diseases. We also know them as lifestyle diseases or chronic diseases. And like the term lifestyle diseases, they are diseases that's caused by lifestyle choices. So the uniqueness of the program that we have is the Live More Abundantly program that I've mentioned. It's a 6 to 7 weeks lifestyle program that we implement or conduct in the communities. And when we say communities, this is not just places where people live in, eat and sleep. This could also, a community could also be defined workplaces, faith-based organizations, even women's groups. So these are the different communities that we conduct this program in, the lifestyle program known as the Live More Abundantly program. It's a program that empowers, in which we teach and empower people to take control of their lives and to be able to control their health outcomes. In this program here, not only is it just a standalone program of educating people and empowering people on health, we also include in it, it's complemented by the other things like ensuring that community members are able to start backyard gardens. So because we work also in the space of climate change, we teach our community members climate smart backyard gardening techniques. Okay, we also include in here food demos. The program really promotes a plant-based, whole foods, plant-based approach to nutrition. And so we teach our communities lots of plant-based recipes, and we use food demos to be able to teach them these things here. Apart from that, we also have what we call, we teach them about value adding as well. It's Also, just to support them, to be able to also a way of them preparing, getting ready for when disasters happen. So that's why we teach them value adding. And then last of all, in the whole program, we also have what we have in communities are our kids club. It's a community-based kids clubs that we have in our communities, and we've established in these communities here in a bid to teach our kids or start them earlier on positive or healthy lifestyles.
That's definitely an interesting approach, sustainable with younger generation. I think it's quite hard, as you can see our sizes. It might take a bit more encouragement for us to change our lifestyle. How has it been working with children? And how do you select your communities?
Okay, thank you, Christine. I think with all of the programs we have, we work with Aligned Ministries that we work with, and for us, Ministry of Health is the ministry that we work with, and they're the ministry that selects the communities for us. And usually the communities we want are high-risk communities. Those are at risk of NCDs. And also then they also have, they specifically select some communities for us that they feel challenged in terms of their health to be included in our group of communities that we work on. Well, as for the Kids Club, like you've asked, it's been a hit ever since we started this program with the kids. We are blessed in the church because we have lots of programs for the kids. And basically what we do is that we just amend the programs that we have in the church and deliver it in health.
Is it similar to the VBS approach?
Sometimes that's exactly what we do, so that we want these kids programs or kids clubs to implement programs that are activities that are fun, it's interactive, it's not a classroom style kind of thing, where kids are learning about exercise, nutrition, they're learning about rest, they're learning about sleep, and all these things. And as you mentioned, one of the things that Ministry of Health had asked us to do in our last phase of the project was work in the informal settlements. So it was
that must be challenging.
Yes, it was a real challenge for us, trying to implement programs in informal settlements because they didn't have the kind of structure that our villages had. So,
do you have any particular highlights?
So I really want to go to the kids program here and mention it a little bit more. One of the things when we do the kids program is that we run things like they have cooking demos, we teach them healthy recipes, they play sports and all these kind of things. So one of the times we went to one of the informal settlements and we decided to teach them how to fruit salad. Now we just went in and the message of the day for that day or for that month, because we run these clubs once a month in the communities. So the message of the club was really just to eat your five a day, 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. So we decided to teach them how to do fruit salad. We were, quite shocked, I would say, and also kind of humbled that most of the kids told us in this settlement here that this is the first time we've seen how to prepare food salad, and this is the first time too we've tasted it and done something like that, and it just dawned on me like how we take things for granted and how we have people or children in communities like this who see this as something it's a new experience altogether, and it adds to us appreciating the work that we do when we see that kind of response from the kids and the people that we serve in the communities.
Indeed, it must be a humbling experience, Kitty. Indeed. So you mentioned Add Value program in terms of disaster preparedness. Daniel and Itika, is there any similar messaging that you link across to the work that you do with the churches or directly with the communities?
Well, Christine, yes, it is important, that value adding is important. thinking about the story in Genesis 41 about the story of Joseph, the 7 good years and 7 years of famine. They had to, the focus there was on preparedness. And I'm sure because with the wheat that they had, they must have diversified, added value to it so they could sort of access other products from the one product, or from the one raw material. Yes. Yeah. So we emphasize that to the partners as well, because members they can access what is within their reach, and how can they value add that to help them, especially during disasters. So one of the programs that's been running with ADRA especially, turning all these root crops into flour, and coming up with other products which they could come up with, which is very important, especially when God has given us all these things around us which we can simply access. But sometimes we just simply know one way of doing things. But with the programs that we run, allowing them to access their talent, so they could work this in order to benefit them, not only during peace times, as we always say, during non-disaster periods, but during disaster periods as well.
Great. Is there any opportunity for the church to work directly with ADRA? Have you done any work with the church? You seem to be more present in the communities. Could you share with our viewers opportunities where we can partner better with the church?
Yes, I need to emphasize the purpose of ADRA, which is, all the viewers, I would say, the Adventists who are watching in this afternoon. Our purpose is to serve humanity so all may live as God had intended. We can work together in order to help the communities out there. We can come in to volunteer during disasters. We can go out. You don't have to wait for a disaster. There's a whole lot of disasters going out there. And the only thing that you need to do is to reach out and assist members of the communities who are weak, who are vulnerable. Because the Bible in James tells us that, true church, undefiled, pure, reaching out to the poor, reaching out to the widows, reaching out to the vulnerable out there. There's a whole lot of vulnerables out there. And if we claim that we are the salt and the light, the only way for people out there to taste the salt and see the light is to mingle, which is Jesus' style of reaching out to the people. Mingle, knowing their needs, and then meet them.
Great. So with the Disaster Ready initiative that we've seen being done in some of the churches, what has this enabled churches to do, Etika? Could you share a little bit on the background of the work with Disaster Ready churches? Is there training?
Yep.
How ready is their readiness compared to churches who may not have undergone this initiative? And I know the intention for ADRA is to work with more churches, especially with the leading of the church interest with Disaster Ready Church, within our churches in the region. Can you share a little bit about what happens when you say that the church is disaster ready?
Thank you, Christine. Yes, with the training that we've done with the disaster ready churches, we've helped to set up committees within the church to be able to respond in times of disaster. So not just within the Adventist church, with our other church partners, where now they are better trained, they are able to coordinate better with government and providing the facilities as evacuation centers, coordinate better with the National Disaster Management Office to be able to provide them updates of the evacuees there being provided shelter in their facilities. Those are some of the examples that some of the impacts in being able to carry out training within the churches.
That's great, Etika. We're going into the cyclone season. Any advice?
Just quickly, just to add on to what Etika had mentioned, we had to come up with, for example, This is the National Manual for PFA, Psychosocial First Aid. It was meant before the churches only, because churches, they are not humanitarian actors per se. So we had to come up with documents such as this, the theology of disaster resilience. This will help them to better prepare themselves and also their members.
So this is led by the church agency.
That is correct.
Okay.
This is
That's a
led by
great
the Church
product.
Agency's Network Disaster Operations. Yeah, so we've prepared them accordingly, because when we did a baseline, most of the churches did say it's not our task. It's the task of the government. And then we tried to enlighten them to realize, in order to work with their members, it's not only the spiritual aspect. Even though the emphasis is on Matthew 6:33, seek ye first the kingdom of God, for them to understand and realize that, we have the physical aspect of our life, our mental and the spirit and the social as well, which needs to be holistic. And part of it is the disaster ready, which we have been talking about from the beginning.
Yeah, thank you for sharing that, Daniel. Is there anything else you'd like to share or encourage viewers today?
Thank you, Christine. I think I'll just say for this, when we started Live More Abundantly, this program, we it was something new. We were trying to teach the people, and then we were kind of very programmatic with how we approached empowering people to live healthier lifestyles and make more healthier choices. As the years rolled on, we became a bit more experienced. We knew how to play around with the program and amend it, and then finally I asked our funders, ADRA Australia, earlier this year, can we change the name of this program to Live Simply? And they said, why would you want to change the name of the program? Because I said, you know what, when you teach this program over and over again, you realize that it's a God-given program that teaches us that God just wants us to live simply in order to live healthy. Yeah, living healthy doesn't have to be a very complicated thing. It's about making simple choices. Eat simple food. Live a simple lifestyle. Make simple choices. Yeah, it's because we feel like, we are sort of pressured by society. Living in a world where everything is about competition, that we want to make the hard choices. And when we make the hard choices and the complicated choices, we get ourselves into complicated health, complicated lives, and it leads to stress, and then it leads to everything else that comes with it. And then we become very unhealthy. And then, like I said at the beginning of this interview here, NCDs is not only causing lots of deaths in our country. Unfortunately, it's causing lots of premature deaths as well. And it's killing our young people. It's killing people who are supposed to be looking after their families, who are supposed to be productive citizens of this country. It's killing this kind of people, and it's sad. But the good news is, I always say, it's something. These diseases are preventable. They're largely preventable. And who can prevent it? You. You are your own doctor. And if we only make simple life choices every day and ask God to guide us in the choices that we make every day. And it's not easy. It's not easy to change our behavior, because this is what these kind of programs are about. It's about changing our behavior. But if we ask God to help us to change behavior, we can, through His Spirit, by His power. It's very difficult for us on our own to change. Yeah. And if we are able to change, we will be able to live healthier, longer lives, so that we can serve Him better in whichever place He has called us to serve Him.
Indeed. Thank you, Kitty. Etika?
Thank you, Christine. As we are coming into the cyclone season towards November, just a plea to our members of the public, as we starting our preparation, if we can emphasize on making our homes safer, and also to take heed of the warnings. The weather warnings that come so many times. We hear of the news on the lives lost there, on situations which could have been avoided. So the main aim of these disaster-ready programs that we're running, working with the churches to be able to continue to emphasize those messages. The main aim is to save lives. Thank you.
Practical message, Itika, and a great reminder for all of us. Daniel, so definitely practical in teaching.
Yeah, thanks, Christina. Just quickly, when we did this program, we did a baseline, and two things came out. One was, when there's a disaster, love flies out the window first, unfortunately, and there's been pointing at finger pointing and all this. And the second thing, people have been talking about faith, talking a lot about faith. They said, if God allows, if this is God's will, then let it be. If I die, I'll die. So we try to change that mentality for them to understand that faith and works, James chapter 2 talks about these two cannot go separately. They have to work together. You have your faith, but you have to work it. When you are talking about preparing for God's soon return, you need to be preparing for the disasters that you are facing, because you cannot say that it's God's will. So that is one of the reasons we came up with this, to demystify all the myths out there. So people need to believe, as Kitty mentioned, but do the actual works according to James.
Thank you very much, Daniel. I think you are not supposed to be in ADRA, but maybe belong in this space every Sabbath. But we are blessed to have you share with us those messages. Again, ADRA is the Adventist Development Relief Agency. It's the humanitarian arm of the church in Fiji, and we have been operating for the past 20 or so years. In terms of our operations, we also belong to a global network of over 130 countries around the globe. If you ask, why do we work in this space? ADRA only operates in missions where there is SDA presence. So for countries that don't have any SDA church, ADRA usually cannot operate there. So please note that ADRA is a part of your church. Thank you for joining us this evening. That is a session that we would like you to be part of. We wish you well as you begin the new week. Being part of ADRA, we are inviting you in the upcoming 12 months to let us know what you think of the humanitarian arm of your church. Also provide feedback, suggestions in how we can improve our work. Pinakabakali.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention? I want to introduce to you, here in this corner, for the good and the right, stands the champion robed in white. His height exceeds the heavens, his weight outweighs the world. His riches everywhere, his age is evermore. He is higher than the highest, he's greater than the great. No one could ever take his crown away. He's more mighty than the mightiest, he reigns from above. He's the all-time undisputed, undefeated champion of love. left his hometown to enter this arena, to raise his hands in victory for me. Oh, an angry crowd, they crucified this king who wore the crown, and they gladly watched his champion go down. Oh, but I will never count him out, for I am a witness of the day he rose to retain his title, this champion of love. He is higher than the highest, his